Second Nature for Children is in the building. Coach, how you doing?
As always, man, I'm great, man. How was yourself?
I'm doing absolutely great myself. I was just looking at a little bit of that Dallas and Green Bay game.
Oh man, that's a beat down.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's a beatdown. And let me tell you something, they just stunned Dallas. I'm sure the state of Texas, all the Dallas fans, because really they was not looking for Green Bay to even be there. And they was looking for Dallas. Yeah, they was looking for Dallas to really do something. So, man, some heads may roll over there because I know Jerry
oh,
Jones.
definitely.
Yeah,
These fans, head coach, everybody got to go.
yeah, that's a hot mess over there. So I was definitely looking at that, and I mentioned that to say too that I know that a lot of us, it's Sunday and it's football season, and like I always speak on us being entertainment junkies, and we need entertainment therapy. And I want to make sure that I'm very transparent that I'm not telling no one not to enjoy themselves because I look at me a little football every one in a while. But you know, I don't go out, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't party, I don't do all of that. But I will look at a little football every once in a while. But one thing I'm gonna make sure I do is make sure that I handle business first, and then I enjoy myself. So I enjoyed that game and definitely getting ready for the next game. And just as like you and myself, we getting ready to, you know, get some information out, and hopefully that our people would take heed to this information, because we are not a entertainment station where we come on and use this platform for entertainment. We bring this platform on for uplifting people of color. And I know it's other race of people, other ethnic, other groups, but I'm talking about us. I want to deal with us in the Black community. And so, family, as you come in, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the thumbs up for like if you don't like. And if you do like, shoot me a comment and let me know what you think about all the content that's out there. And you can't tell me that there's not content out there that touch your life or touch at least two or three other people's lives that you know. And so subscribe, thumbs up, make sure you share this information. And today, Coach, this is a topic that you hit me with and said that it had been on you for a little while and said something that you had been kind of looking over that you would like to talk about. And so I'm definitely gonna give you the floor once I open it up. And I want to do it with you. And the topic is parents, are you raising your enemy? Did I get that topic right?
Yeah, that's it.
Once again,
That's it.
parents, and that's interesting. Are you raising your enemy? And first thing is to make sure that we define some things, because when we start talking about raising, we know that it's taken to a higher place, to lift up, to put up. That's one
Mm-hmm.
definition. To breed, to grow, to
Mm-hmm.
produce is another definition. But I like this one more when we begin to talk about parents raising children, and that is to bring up or to train. To bring
Mm-hmm.
up or to train. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I like that definition right there from the topic that you
yeah.
came up with. And then I would just want to touch that one of the problems we're having, because a lot of the parents are not raising their children. That is definitely one of the problems that we have in the Black community.
Mm.
I want to address our community. Then you have parents who neglect their children. And believe me, that when you have parents that are not raising their children, that comes a big percentage of children becoming an enemy of their parents as they get older. Uh, Parents who neglect their children, definitely, and I'll talk a little later about that. That becomes a big problem as your child or children become an adolescent or get older, that they could become your enemy. Then you have the parents who may give their children too much, too
True,
much,
true, true.
too much.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of times that can be a problem too, because that can hurt, because as soon as you are unable to supply them with what you've been giving them, then it becomes a problem. So we definitely have to
Mm.
be very aware of that as well. If we're trying to give our child everything, especially when we know mama may be trying to do a little bit too much because daddy is not in the child life. Just trying to get a child all, as much as I can give, as much as I can give. And sometimes parents, you can ruin your child by doing that, but we'll let that go for now. So when parents don't raise their children lose respect for them. Children lose respect for them because a lot of times they feel like you haven't held your responsibility as a parent. And then as they get older, they'll begin to resent them, especially when the parents are absent from their lives. It's just like I deal with a lot of kids, and then all of a sudden, especially with my boys, and then a man or a daddy try to come into their lives, especially once they can hit the teen years, a lot of times that become a problem. That's a big problem. And then if daddy trying to come back into a child's life as that child has reached a certain age and came into their teen years, and it's like that child really don't respect mother or father because they like, where you been, they feel abandoned a lot of times. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they feel abandoned a lot of times. So as parents, we have to be very careful. And that's why when you go back to the tape that I did on solutions in the Black community, I address a lot of these issues that I'm talking about now because there are problems and solutions. And I just like for everybody to go back and look at that solution video that I did. And it explained a lot of these things that I'm talking about now. So, Coach, I'm going to let you jump in, and I'll come back in. But give it to me. Parents, are you raising your enemy? And, Coach, like I said, once again, I want everybody to know that this is a topic that was on your heart, on your mind, that you brought to the table. Give me what you got.
Yeah. Well, it was 2 articles. One I read, a young man, his dad new girlfriend and his brother, right? They tried to take him out. Now I didn't follow up after to see if they all died, whatever. That's the first article. The second one really strike me, this 13-year-old in San Antonio, Texas, stabbed her mama 30 times. 30. Now I know folks might say, well, what persuasion, but it doesn't matter. We talk about child, we talk about parent. And we have this thing that we always gravitate to the bad. So that was on my heart, and that's why, hence the topic. I try to take myself back 13, 14. Man, I was running behind a soccer ball. I was thinking stuff like that. I want to, my mama might make me mad or whatever, but I couldn't in my wildest dream think, but you know what I mean? Trying to hurt my mom, or dad for that matter. So that's why I choose that topic, man. Are we engaging our children? I mean, I know you probably asked about homework, you asked about schoolwork, who's that friend you're hanging out with. I get that. But what about random topics? Oh, I just read so-and-so. What do you think about this? You know what I mean? Just to see where they are. Mm-hmm. Would they follow up with you? Would they just shut you off? Are we, trying to engage them in some way, shape, or form? We know we got this new age parenting now where kids have all this privacy. Man, listen, man. You're in my house. And I know you might want privacy, but nah, when I knock on that door, I don't want to hear go away. Nah. Hell no, it's my house. But that's what I know. You know what I mean? Right. I believe a child should have not only respect, but a little fear for their parent. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying not fear that, I'm going to hurt you. Fear that if you step out the line, you're going to have to deal with the repercussions, And in this day and age, man, we're slipping, I feel. You might not know everything about your child, but you should pick up something ain't right. You know what I mean? she's off to herself more than normal, or he's off to himself more than normal. What's going on? I need to be engaged with my child. So, like I said, man, that really touched me. You stab your mama 30 times, 30 times. You know, that had to be a disconnect. Way back when, there had to be a disconnect, man. You know, so I'm just bringing it to the forefront, saying that whoever we have in the house, be it child or children, be it male or female, we need to engage them, find some way, shape, or form. Not only about the school work, what the teachers say, friends you hanging out with, what you want for Christmas and all of that. Try to catch them mentally, you know what I mean? See how they respond to certain things. What you got in your mind, man? Come holler at me. Put that phone down for a minute. Talk to me, man. Just give me 5 minutes of your time. You know, you got something you got on your chest? Talk to me. You know what I mean? We need to do that. I feel that's the only way we can gauge them to see where they are. Are they distant or they're, you know what I mean? They're here, you know, mentally. How else can you gauge them if they're always locked up in the room, always private, you know? So yeah, that's something I wanted to share, man. I'm hopefully that, you know, another parent don't have to go through what that woman went through. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was on my heart, man.
Well, you know, Coach, that's a great topic, and I just want to piggyback on it a little bit, especially children killing the parents. Um, and there's a name for it, especially when you kill your mother. It's called
I
matricide.
didn't know that. I
Yeah,
found that out today. I didn't know. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. It's in
yeah,
it. Yeah, so it lets you know that it goes on so much, and it's been going on a
yeah,
very
yeah,
long time. To
yeah.
it's yeah, when a child killed their mother, it's matricide, and when they kill their
There's a yeah,
father, it's patricide. So it goes on, and then
pesticide. Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. And what happens a lot of times is that our children have a lot of psychological issues. And as you were
This
saying, the parent need to engage their children more to see exactly what's going on with their psyche. But what happens a lot of times, coach, is that our parents are not doing well mentally. So they don't
mm,
know, right? See, they don't know how to engage their children into trying to find out what's wrong with them because over 30 years of working in different fields dealing with parents and children, when you see children going through a lot of psychological problems, once you meet their parents a lot of times, then you'll be able to understand, wow, I see now where it's coming from. And I've been in this, yeah, I've been right. Now you see, because let me tell you something. You have a lot of parents, coach, who neglect their children by not showing them love. Okay. A lot of parents don't know how to show their children love because a lot of times they were not shown love.
I
Okay.
got you.
So a lot of things when we see certain things, we shouldn't be now like, wow, and amazed because when we sit down and think about it, we'll be able to see like we did the tape on the generational curse of formality
Versus.
and custom and things just keep continuing in a bad manner, then it comes up to this right here because I've had parents literally who knew their children were being violated sexually by either the boyfriend, the daddy, the cousin, the nephew. So can you imagine, boy or girl, psychologically, my mother who's supposed to love me, know that this is happening to me and not doing nothing about it. So psychologically, that child is mentally messed up. So what you see when you begin to see that stabbing, not saying in that incident that you read, but I'm telling you from my experience. So once that comes out of that child, now 30 times of stabbing someone, that child is enraged a lot of times from the
Raised.
trauma that it has experienced. You understand what I'm saying? I know parents
I got you.
literally who know that their kids literally have been abused physically, mentally, and emotionally. And as that child get older, it's going to be hard a lot of times for that child to overcome that trauma. And right now, today, as adults, a lot of us who didn't kill our parents, we made it into adulthood, but a lot of us are still experiencing things that happened to us when we was little. And that's why a lot of times we don't do well now as adults, especially in relationships. Because growing up, a lot of times our parents didn't know how to make that good connection with us. So we don't know how to make that connection. So that's one of the biggest problems, especially in my observing and in my experience of working with children and parents and couples. One of the biggest problems that we have is, like you said a little earlier, we are so disconnected from each other relationship wise. And that's what relationship means, simply to connect. But as a family, as a group of people, and that's why as a group of people, we can't get nothing done because we are so disconnected as a people. And that's just been going on time after time after time. And then a lot of times, these kids have psychological problems and the parents are not being observant of them. And so now they tap into, now we're in a social media age. See, when we was coming up, we didn't have all this technology and things that we have now. So we try to suppress a lot of things, but we're feeling the effects of it now as adults. That's why a lot of times, like I said a little earlier, we can't even stay in a relationship well because, like I did in the last video, our mindset, if we're not well mentally, and then we're trying to connect with another person who's not well mentally, that's going to be a rocky relationship. And I want us to understand that a lot of times that's what's happening in your household family, and you and your mate, male, female, or whatever it is, even people that you associate yourself with, friends or whatever. A lot of time, and I use that word very loosely because that friend thing, you got to be very careful. Friends, right? The way we would consider someone being a friend and a true friend. I'll just say this right here and I leave it alone. Just be very careful with that word and who you call your friend. I leave it alone. Yeah, I leave it alone. So definitely, if our parents are not paying mind, bringing our children up, raising our children, and that's why when you go back and look at that tape on solutions I put out there, and it comes right back to, are you raising your enemy? Because if you're not ready to carry out the responsibility of a child, you may just be raising your enemy because that child will feel some type of resentment eventually if they don't feel right the love of, because listen, we got children now, they say that they're in gangs, okay? And I've been working in the youth detention center and affiliated with them. I worked there now doing mentoring over 8 to 10 years and still affiliated with the juvenile detention center. Okay, so that lets you know I deal with a lot of so-called gangs. And here's the gang right here. The gang a lot of times is a child who parent neglected them, did not show them love. So when they went to the streets, they ran into another child was going through the same problem or something similar. And so what they did was they showed each other, man, I care about you, a girl, I care about you, or whatever. They showed a caring that they was not getting at home. So now two of them can ran into each other. They can ran into another one. They can run, and so it keeps adding up. So now you may have 6 or 7, could be more, but we'll just stay at the 6 or 7. So that's how they running into each other. And so now what they do, they're not doing well educationally. They're not doing well at school. They're not doing well at home, but they still got to survive. Now, this group, a lot of times, is hooked into social media. So that's their guidance. You understand what I'm saying? So when they
Yeah.
look at these things and they look at the houses, they look at the cars, they look at the bling and the drip, and they look at all these things. So now we're uneducated. We don't have a job to purchase these things. And the way we're going, we'll never get them, but we want them. So what are we going to do? That's why when people be telling me, man, I don't understand why these kids or why people did, man, I understand. I understand because we're not coming in as a people to help these children. Second Nature for Children is the only program I know that is teaching a foundation and teaching children uh, and giving them a base on how to make it through this journey and make it through this system that we're in that a lot of people don't understand. So that's where that game mentality comes from. It comes from a lot of times uneducated, wanting to be loved. I can ran up to another group of kids who's uneducated, wanted to be loved. We still want the bling and we still want this and we still want that. We haven't been trained up. We haven't been guided. We haven't been brought up. So we're going to do it the best way we know. And that's why, coach, that's where you're robbing, you're stealing. That's where all of these things come into play. And then you could go, I don't know, you go to a lot of different cities where gang violence is rougher than it is right here in Atlanta. We're in Atlanta, and we do have it right here as well. And what it is, the system that we in, a lot of these guys don't agree with the system. Okay. A lot of people, especially the old heads, they come from a system of slavery. So now in 2024, as we're into this new year, we're still in that same system of slavery. It's just been updated. And a lot of us are just going on with the system. We just a part of the system and we are enslaved to the system. But the thing is, what's happening, the younger generation, they're not with your old system. So you won't let me in your system to make money because you want me to do it a certain way. But I'm not that Negro to be that submissive and to do it that way. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna do it another way. And a lot of times that's what you're seeing in the different cities, especially when the teens are coming in as gangs and violence and all of this is very high in certain areas. You just see a group of kids that's uneducated, feel like they're unloved, and we don't agree with this system, and we're working to do it our way. And that's why it's Second Nature for Children bringing a lot of kids off the streets. I'm the only program I know that someone can show, and I would love to hear other people who are doing great things for kids. And I call them unsystematic children, meaning that they're not part of any programs that a system have. Because all the children, when you go to Facebook and when you go to our website and you see every child that's on there, those children that we brought from the streets, I bring children in from the streets. They're not, they mother, I would say 95, 96, 97, I can go up to 99 sometimes. Percent of the children that you see that I have on Facebook, a lot of their parents don't even know where they are. I got them from the streets. So, and they don't get any help because the system, and a lot of us don't understand the system don't help unsystematic children because what they do is they do a study on how many little black boys here, how many little black girls there. And if no one comes in to put programs together to help them, then we know we need to build more jails. We need to do this. Because we know that if they don't get help, they're coming into our system. And that's so sad that a lot of us as people of color don't understand the system that we need to come together so we can help our children, especially all of our children, but especially the ones that are in the streets, because they got to understand the system is not going to help second nature for children, because the system understands that if I help second nature for children to straighten children out, then that means he'll mess up our money. Because when I go into that youth, when I go into that youth prison, every child in there, that state gets money for every head to come through that door. My program is to stop them from coming through that door. So, do you understand? When I go into that prison, 22 years of talking and dealing with nothing but killers, every killer in that system, there's money coming in for them. So if I bring them into my program and stop them from going into that system, then I stop that system money. So the biggest problem we're having, the system is not going to help a grassroots nonprofit organization. And then we as a people is not going to come together and make a difference. So that's why I'm telling you, coach, around me, grown folks, and especially men, you can't talk about children bad around me if you're not doing nothing to make a difference. I'm going to go off. I'm going to go off. You got anything you want to go with, coach?
Other than directly and indirectly, man, as adults, as parents, we're part of the problem, a huge part of the problem, and we also can be part of the solution. We just got to decide which side of the fence we want to be, because the problem is here. To me, it's getting bigger, and we got to pick sides, man. We can be part of the problem, we can be part of the solution, you know, and start from inside your home, man. If you have kids there, or even nieces and nephews, you know, little cousins or what have you, start from in your home, man. Because that change you make in there, you know what I mean, could be a drastic change on the outside, you know, when they come out, because they can come out in the streets at some point in time, you know. And if you're an adult and you're honest with yourself, you know that there's some things you're troubling with from your childhood, man. Try to get some help, man. Try to get some help, you know, so you can be a better version of yourself, man. But yeah, man, that I tried to ignore it, man, but I couldn't shake it, man. So I had to talk about it. That's just one of them things, man.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put it to you, and like I always tell you, anytime dealing with us, dealing with the community, dealing with something that you know that we need to hear as a people, you know, all you have to do is hit me up with a topic or a title, and we're gonna do it. Period. We're not gonna, if it's on your heart, it's on your mind, dealing with us, coach, we're gonna do it. And that is always open to you. And if I have anyone else out there who have anything on their heart, on their mind, that hey, we ought to address the Black community with this. There's my email address. You can hit me up, and we'll definitely do it. You understand? So, coach, I appreciate you. This a whether you know it or not, and it's on your heart, so you know. But this is a powerful topic, and these are things that we're addressing that should have been addressed in our community many years ago. But we're gonna make sure it's second nature for children, man, that when it's dealing with the mind, the body, the soul, us as a people, things that's essential to our lives, coach, we're gonna continue to bring this information. If they see it, they see it. If they don't want to look at it. A lot of them won't look at it because a lot of us, we don't see nothing wrong. And so until you see something wrong, yeah, you will never fix it. You know, so we just gonna work to touch that conscious mind, and hopefully that they can reach out to, like you say, their close ones within their home, and then maybe it can reach through their family and extend out through the family to we could begin to try to reach even more and support our organization and the work we're doing. Make sure you go, like I said, to our Facebook page, our website, check out our information. And once again, I mean, I've even had parents who, two-parent household, good parents, and their kids are still rebellion because even though you still can have two parents in the house a lot of times, it still can be a disconnect because a
Yes,
lot of
man.
times, yeah, it still could be a disconnect. And then sometimes you just have children who want to live that thug life. They just, they just got more influence from what they see, their friends and social media. And you could be too good parent, but hell, they just more,
Yeah.
they just want to live that thug life. So you have that as well. And then a lot of times you have the two parents that are in the household and they've been together so long, but they're just together. You understand? There is no true love or no true connection. It's just, you know, I guess the first one just waiting on the other one to leave the house.
Yeah, they just tolerating each other,
They
man. You
just
know that.
tolerating each absolutely. And so they got to be careful with that as well because the children see that. They
Yeah.
feel it. Yeah, they can see that. And they can grow up resenting what was going on between you two. So as parents, we have to be very careful how we ourselves interact with each other. And then because if that father is abusive to that mother, and that son is watching that, a lot of times he can pick up being abusive to women is okay.
Mm.
Psychologically, I've dealt with that.
Yeah.
He can see
Yeah.
it. He can see his father beat his mother. Hell, that's just the way it's supposed to be. And then it happens a lot of times psychologically. If that girl see her father beating her mother, I've had this to happen. Or any man beating her mother, then once she gets to a certain age, a lot of times she could feel like being abused is okay because she saw it growing up. It's
Mm.
normal. Yeah, it was normal in my household. So just like you said earlier, parents, parents, please, these children did not ask to come here. These children did not ask to come here. You mess around and you have a child and you have some children, please raise your children to the best of your ability. And if you have any problems, any issues, any questions, there's my email when it comes to children. There's my email when it comes to children. I'm going to leave it right there. Coach, we got 3 minutes. If you got us a close out, you can close us out and we're going to get out of here. I can say it enough, and you sure enough can put a lot of peanut butter on that jelly sandwich. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it too, man. This is usual, man. New year. We can set new beginnings. We can set new goals. Don't be the same old you, man. Um, Try to work on that thing that you've been putting off, or that issue that been, holding you back to some degree. Whether mental, physical, spiritual, information age, man. Just tap in and make the best you can with what's out here. Whatever you want to get into, whatever you want to learn, man, it's out here. You can, man, with a click of a button. It was never this easy, so we don't have any excuses, man. We don't have any excuses of being better. First and foremost, to ourselves, because it starts with us. Being better to ourselves, self-care. I'm talking about the whole gamut. Be better to ourselves, and then in turn, we can be better to each other. That way we don't be so angry, frustrated, take it out on somebody. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, new year, new beginnings, new you, man. Let's do that, so that's it, man, for me.
Well, hey, coach, I'm going to leave it right there. I'm not going to touch it anymore. That was great. And I thank you once again for such a powerful topic. And man, we need to hear that. So I thank you for that again. That was a blessing. And I hope the people take heed to the information. And until we come together again, family, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. And once again, Coach, always much blessing. And I thank you for that again. Take care.
You too, man. Take care. Please.
Yes, sir.